Welcome or welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today is a really nice Yin Yoga class and we are going to work on releasing tension in the Psoas. Now, if you'd like a cute background music tune with it, you can click the link down below to one of my favorite Spotify lists, which I love to play during Yin Yoga. For today's class, you want to have some props. Anything would work. Pillow, blocks, yeah, that's kind of it. Maybe you want a blanket, but not necessary. You can always use like a book or just a pillow from your couch. Don't feel forced to buy any yoga props. It will work with whatever you have. All right, we are going to start by making our way on towards the back. And today's class will start in a really nice butterfly pose, supine. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a nice big pillow and I will show you an adjustment up here where you could use your rolled up mat and do the same pose. Feet come together, knees come nice and wide. And then you are going to bring the bolster close towards the lower back. And then just relax yourself over the bolster. Hands can rest next towards the body. Or maybe you're going to bring one hand towards the heart and one hand towards the lower belly. Now, if you feel like this pose is quite a lot for you in the hip area, you can always scooch 2 pillows or 2 blocks underneath the knees, which helps to bring the ground up to you a little, will make it less intense in towards the hip area. Allowing the body to relax over the bolster, over the blocks. Allowing yourself to release any tension you've been holding on during the day. From here, finding your breath. Allowing yourself, allowing your body to soften. If the hands feel great where they are, you can keep them there. If you want a little more, you can grab opposite elbows or opposite hands and just extend yourself, your arms up overhead. And staying here for about 5 more deep breaths. Slowly releasing the hands back next towards the body if you had them extended overhead. Bringing the knees back together, maybe taking a moment to walk the feet wide. Note how you feel. Then we're going to prop ourselves up into a seat, and we're going to bring the bolster or your pillow underneath the lower back, or maybe slightly lower than the lower back underneath the tailbone, but it will become flat a little bit, so it will touch the lower back too. So coming supine, positioning the pillow or the bolster so it feels really nice. And then from there we are going to extend the legs out. Walk both feet all the way towards the bottom left corner. Then cross the left ankle over the right, right ankle over the left, if that feels good. Reaching both hands up. And then reaching the hands over towards the top left corner. Left hand grabs right wrist. Seeing if you can keep the hips nice and grounded on towards the pillow. And then you might start feeling the stretch not only in the side body, but also in towards the front of, well, kind of the right hip flexor. And if you don't feel any stretch there, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Our poses work on some deeper releasing of the fascia as well. Stick with a deep belly breath. You're doing great. Three more deep breaths here. And on the exhale, bringing yourself back to center. Walking both legs over towards the right. Right hand can grab left wrist. Then you can bring the hands over towards the top right corner. Now you can shimmy the shoulder blades a little bit in towards this lateral stretch if you'd like. But see if you can keep the hips nice and grounded on towards the pillow. Doing great. Stick with that deep belly breath. About 3 more breaths into this pose. And then slowly making your way back to center. You can bring the feet down towards the mat, knees up. Lift your hip up into a little bridge pose. And then move the pillow aside, taking a moment in Shavasana. A moment of rebounding to see how you feel. Great. Slowly making your way up into a nice seat, and then actually moving through right away. We're going to come into an extended child's pose. Feet can come together, knees come nice and wide, and here you can choose if you want to bring a bolster in between the hips and bring yourself over the bolster, or just coming down in a regular child's pose, bringing the forehead down towards the mat. See if you can find a nice stretch in the side body and the hips. And then see if you can breathe not only in towards that lower belly, but use your full expansion. Breathing in the sides and the back of the body as well. Good. Taking 3 more deep breaths in your child's pose. And on your next exhale, you can make your way back up to center. We're coming on towards hands and knees, and then from there we will step the left foot forward. And then you can walk the left foot a little bit out towards the left if that's comfortable. And if this is a tough pose for you, you can always grab 2 blocks, bring the hands towards the inside of the mat. Inside of the foot, I should say. And then you can stay here, keeping the hands on towards the blocks. Maybe you lower the forearms down. Or maybe the forearms come all the way down towards the mat. But do be aware that we're going to hold this pose for a little longer. So make sure you find a position where you feel a nice stretch. But don't feel like you're already hitting your max. And if this is not too comfortable for your knee, you can always bring your pillow underneath the knee or a little bit in front of the knee so the end of the quad can rest onto it. Finding your breath. You're about halfway through, so you're doing really great. If you feel like you can comfortably lower a bit more, please feel free to do so. About 5 more deep breaths here. And then we're slowly bringing ourselves back up on towards the hands. Now for the next one, I do like to bring my knee on a pillow, even though in general, my knees are perfectly fine on the mat. We are going to bring ourselves up into a low lunge. And then we are going to bring a block on the left side of our foot. So then the left hand reaches towards the block and we're going to look for a lateral stretch. So the right hand can reach overhead. Now it's Yin Yoga, so this hand is not necessarily the thing that we're using. So if this overhead position is a bit too much, you can kind of rest the hand maybe on towards the head. I like to bring it towards my neck. We're looking for the stretch here in through the hips and then a little bit in towards the side body. Taking a deep breath in and a long breath out. Now I know this pose is quite a lot, so never go too far. We're gonna hold this pose also not that long like with previous poses. So just stick with the breath, taking a deep breath in, long breath out, deep breath in, Long breath out. You're doing so great. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, we release. Good. Now it might be nice to move through a little bit of movement here. I like to roll forward and then extend that front leg back. See what works for you. It's your practice. All right. Good. Making your way back on towards your hands and knees. We're going to come into our low lunge on the other side, or lizard pose. So hands can come towards the inside of the foot. The knee can rest on the bolster, or the bolster can be a little bit in front of the knee. This can be your pose. Perfectly fine. If you need blocks to be comfortably here, of course, do so. If you want to lower on towards the forearms, take your time to do so. And again, we are going to find our breath here. And think of that full expansion, right? So not only breathing into the belly, but also the lower back, the sides of the torso as well. Doing so great halfway through. From there, slowly making your way back up on towards the hands, and then we are going to grab one of our two blocks, place it next to the body, maybe bring the foot slightly more in, and maybe bring the knee on towards the bolster if that feels good. We're going to lift ourselves up into a little bit more of a lunge position, bringing the hand towards the block, switching the left hand overhead, finding that lateral stretch, maybe bringing the hand towards the head or the neck, wherever it can comfortably rest. And then again, we're taking a few nice deep breaths in here. I know this is quite intense, so breathing through it. Always feel free to ease off earlier if needed. 3 more deep breaths. And slowly making your way back to center. Maybe moving through some extension, bring it in. Extension of that right leg and rolling it forward. Good. We're bringing ourselves back into a seat, moving your props aside. And then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna build up our last pose. So if you only have a pillow, use your pillow. If you do have props, then this is the following I would build it up. So bring 2 blocks on towards the mat, medium height, and then placing the bolster on top of it, just so you have a nice soft padding. Now, we'll be scooching ourselves on towards the bolster again with the tailbone, and then bringing ourselves into a supine position here. Now, if this is already enough of a stretch for you, stay here. If you want, you can extend the legs out and start by finding that stretch again towards those hip flexors, front body. It's basically a full front body opening, and especially if you decide to extend the hands overhead, you might find a little bit of a deeper stretch in the front body. Staying here for about 5 more deep breaths. And then slowly step the right foot back, the left foot back, releasing the hands if you had them extended. Lift the hips up, move the props aside, sink the hips down. Good. Taking a moment, notice how it feels. And then you can extend one leg out, followed by the other. Hands can rest next towards the body. Finding your Shavasana. Taking a deep breath in and a long breath out. If you want to extend your Shavasana, you can click the video up there for a 10-minute Shavasana extension, or just pause this video. Starting by finding some movement back into the body. Any stretch you still feel like taking, take your time to do so now. And then slowly rolling to the right side. Oof. And then taking your time to brush yourself back up in a nice, comfortable seat. Thank you so much for joining this class. I hope you benefited from it somehow. And now know that these hip opening positions and working in that area can release some emotion. So if you feel a little bit more sensitive or a little bit more sad, don't get too worried about it. Maybe you can journal a little bit, see if there's anything coming up you can work with, or maybe just let it be, release it. And that might be the best way to go about it. See what works for you, and if nothing comes up, don't worry. It's great. Everybody responds differently to a practice. Yeah, with that being said, wish you the greatest day, greatest evening, and I hope to see you back very soon. Namaste.